Hello, dear friends. Today we will talk about negation. It's negation in dialectics. And firstly, of course, we can use all these shortcuts like introduction to the speculative thinking, or we can say another, it is like introduction to dialectical thinking. Yes, dialectical force maybe a little bit. Okay. It is our goal, and firstly, I will talk about the main elements what we must hold in our memory for correct understanding what about I will talk. Okay, firstly, the common context. Yes, the concept of dialectic, it is of course the formal understanding, but nevertheless it will be enough for us. Dialectic is vision of unity opposites. Yes, or retention of the seemingly, firstly of course it is incomparable but essential related interpretations, two visions, controversial visions, and if we use dialectic, it does not always work so, but if we use this way, we find that real, essential contradictional visions and phenomena usually have one ground. It is different sides of the one, something wrong, something concrete. Yes, honest. Okay, if we talk about etymology. Dialectics, it's from Greek. Uh, it means there, through, separately. And lactics, it means talk, report, and etc. That's why usually dialectic we understand like a way of manage of talking. How we say another? It's instrument for argumentation, and that's why it is usual way of using. Today we will talk not about the we will use only like examples, yes, like illustration working of dialectic in this meaning. But the main goal for us today, talk about dialectical logic firstly. And if we talk about argumentation and competition in talking, yes, in communication, it we will use only like illustration. Okay, but another name for dialectic, it is speculation, speculative, speculative logic. And of course, we will talk about this according with the Hegel at a high level of development dialectical tradition. We will use this approach. It's real very fundamental author for all classical traditional philosophy. That's why it's so. That's why we will use this author and its approach. Okay, according with Hegel, dialectic was named like a speculative logic. What it means, this notion speculative, like a speculation, yes. It is Latin notion what reflect idea of Greek, of the idea or notion, Greek notion of theory. It is vision. In Russian, we can translate in English, it is vision by mind. Or we can translate it another, it's like intellectual intuition. It's like synonymous idea of a theory. Yes, it's the ancient name for the science. Yes, for the science, because only theory it is the first and the essential name of science, not empirical. Yes, not empirical sciences or particular sciences. No, firstly it was theory. For example, that's why if we talk today about the first science, we talk about theoretical discipline, math. Okay, speculation. or dialectic. It's like synonymous. We talk not about communication, we talk about vision, how it works in logic, dialectical, speculative logic. That's why it is for Hegel, it is the great science, uh, science of the logic, nаука логики. It is the ground and essential great work of the Hegel, where we can find the main forms of working these form of thinking about what we will talk. I mean dialectic, firstly. Okay, it is for the beginning. And what else we must and have to know? Uh, the basic working metaphor for explanation the essence of the dialectic speculative logic. Um, it is metaphor of mirror, mirror, and it is the main idea of the lecture. The main goal for me and these short course, it is explain the idea of negation by metaphor of mirror. I try to explain what it means right now. Okay, firstly, mirror, if we talk in context of understanding the negation, like a central notion of dialectic, it's mean that it's like symbol of not distinguishing essential if we talk about how working our thinking, yes? And mirror, it is symbol now distinguishing essential authors superficially similar, yes, opposites, as a key feature of our nature, usual thinking. It's very interesting because usually we think that we can to distinguish controversial phenomena. Yes, it's so evidential. We can see it because it is so simple, but it is not so. Usually, very principal, very essential, controversial phenomena, not so evidential. That's why the mirror, it is symbol when we go to the cycle in our mind, cycle of unrecognized of experience, recognized experience. It's mean that I can extract understanding and catch the knowledge in these cycle of not understanding. Yes, what it mean? When I see its cycle of not understanding, and I mean it is the metaphor when I see to the mirror and find there the image of reflection. Yes, and from this image, I go to the original thing. Okay, I find here it, and again, okay, in the same moment, I go to the moment to the identity, different things, and after that, again, I to distinguish. It is process where I repeat the same actions and con to repeat it again and again. That's why it is stupid cycle. Okay, about what I talk. If we talk not about metaphor, if we talk about the science or real examples. Uh, it is metaphor express the okay, you can remember our lectures about the Sigmund Freud and the way of working the experience in psychoanalysis and therapy, where what are these symptoms? Yes, what are these neuros? It is situation where the problem in my childhood where I come to set it and solve the problem what happened in my childhood. I repeat again and again in my adult period of my life. Yes, it is situation very strange. If we can't to solve the problem, if we can't to solve the problem, firstly, the same problem will repeat again and again through the our life. It is cycle of unrecognized experience. We can't extract the knowledge. What happened with me in my childhood? And it is task for psychotherapist, yes, for example, for Sigmund Freud, where we can break this stupid cycle, repeating the same step on the same rigs. It's a problem, but it is a real form of working our usual life. That's why. Okay, it is first symbol, it is first meaning of the metaphor of the mirror by what I try to express and uh, interpret the idea of dialectic. Second meaning about what I talk. Mirror, it is uh, symbol of materiality, the formal calculability of negation. It means that dialectic it is not informal logic. It means that usually we think that if different external things we find like the same and external features, yes, like the same, we find the external identity between two these things. We usually think that this is the same, essentially. Okay, I repeat, if we find that different phenomena externally the same, we conclude that in essence these things the same. But the different features, what we find like another, we think that it is, oh, it's mistake, it's not important. But it is so usually, but not always. It's mean that formal logic try, it's logic, mathematical logic, for example, it's logic what we find in working of computer, for example, yes? When I calculate, not think, but calculate. Uh, Remember about this problem, I mean, all sphere of problem with the Kurt Gödel and his works. If it will be need, we will return to this topic. It's very important for us. Okay, and what I try to express, I try to explain and express the simple idea. Dialectical logic, speculative logic, it is essential logic, not formal. It is informal, essential logic. It's mean, in our example of two things, very close, similar things. According with the dialectical logic, we find usually that not always, maybe not always in all things, but exist phenomena where uh, the features, external features, what we find where we compare two phenomena and we think, oh, it is not important. Now, it is features what's very important. It's like situation again with the Freud and his psychoanalysis, where my mistake in my speech, where I talk not what I want, we usually think, okay, if you talk something wrong, oh, it's mistake, it's not important. You want to say something another. It's not essential. But according with the Freud, we know, no, this is mistake when I talk not what I want. It's mean that my sphere of unconsciousness, yes, unconsciousness, talk by my mouth. It's mean that it's real more essential sphere talk by these different features, different how we think, not essential. Maybe you know these wisdom that or aphorism. The God and devil uh, live in unessential things, unessential phenomena, in different how we think unessential, how would say, uh, occasions, for example. Okay, I try to return to this moment by different and other examples. And we return to these moments. It is the main idea, main metaphor by what I will try to express the idea of negation in dialectic, because the negation is central notion of the dialectic and speculative logic. That's why it's so important. And what it means? It means that uh, in dialectic we find when one thing transform in another, how it work in the mirror. For example, it's mirror. Yes, you know this simple situation. Of course, if we find some point in this object, of course, if we will use the mirror, we will find the same point on image when we reflect this object in mirror. Yes, when we reflect, it's reflection. When we reflect to the mirror, we find feature on another side. It's transformation. I repeat it again. It's only a metaphor. It is not exact way of understanding of dialectical logic. It is more difficult process. It is only for lectioning. Yes, it is only like instrument of explanation. That's why. But it is very important. Okay, for example, it is the left, right, left side, if we will see from that side. But when I reflect it in a mirror, I find the image. It is original thing, for example, and it is image what happen or made by reflection. Yes, but we find it's on right side. It's very simple idea. It's mean that the same images transform these its meaning. It's main idea. It's the essence of the negation in dialectic. We not destroy something by negation. No, we transform this by another meaning. It is the main essential idea of the negation in dialectic. And finally, what we must hold in our memory and in our mind. We don't talk only about objective reality. We always understand. We always hold the idea the same. Yes, we always held the idea that the wholeness, it is always something, or absolute according with Hegel, it is always something what hold inside the subject, what in the same moment try to understand the object. It's mean that the subject and object something one and transform this. If we talk about our task, and if we talk about dialectic, when we try to explain the essence of dialectic. Dialectic, it is always understanding when we hold to these controversial sides in unity, in integrity. We try to hold it in one moment, but it is impossible because we can find only one, and if we will find it, we can't find another. The same according with the gnoseological, phenomenological perspective. If we find one side, if we find one vision, we can't to find another. It is absolutely impossible. That dialectic try to integrate it and hold this tension, because in the same moment we must hold it in one moment, but we can't. That's why dialectical logic, it's logic of paradox. We can say so. Okay, but about everything in the term. It is our first lecture. I hope it was interesting for you. Thank you very much. That's all.